Hey everyone, it's Storm here, bringing you guys another First Descendant build guide. And today we've got Serena in the house. I've got 3 different builds for you. I'm going to go over what modules I'm using on each build, what weapons, Inversion Reinforcement, your Reactor, external components, and then the Arche tuning tree that I have set up for each different build, and they all have a different one. So stay tuned. I'm going to do each build one at a time, and I'll separate them out for you with chapters so you can easily find the one that you want and use the one that works best for you. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into the single kind of all-around build here. So with Serena, there's no reason to never not put this him build on. It's extra support. It just makes it easy for everyone. That way you can, whether you have people in the group or not, it's just helpful. And it has no downside, which most red mods have a downside. This one does not. So having that in there, then on Serena, because her number 4 ability right here, as you can see, I did get that duration and that cooldown very close to each other. This just ups her damage so much when she is in this mode. So with the animation of it, you're almost 100% uptime right there. With that being said, though, with that stacking on health, you want a good amount of health, but you want your duration up and everything like that. So I took increased HP and HP amplification as my health mods. Then I took MP conversion and nimble fingers to get that cooldown as low as I possibly could. Then I have our skill extension on here, maximize conservation, maximize duration. Again, these right here are going to help so that way you have the longest possible time in your 4 as you can. Then this one right here, the maximize conservation, helps reduce that skill cost. So while you're flying, when you use that big 4, it's not as expensive and it just keeps you going. I didn't have this one for the longest time. However, maximize range makes it so great when you're in the Void 30, because when you're using that Albion or something that isn't a rocket launcher, it does make it so that multi-hit just smashes around right there. You see the additional damage down there on the AoE. That makes a big difference for her when you have that maximized range on. Highly recommend. Then I have shot focus on because skill power is not as important in this build. It's a gun build. You're primarily going for that gun damage, and then focus on singular. This is here specifically for me to get the extra cooldown. If you don't have enough mod space, you can always put a blank one on that isn't leveled up, but I just had it, so I just used it. That's the first build for you. Let's go ahead and pop out here and look at what guns we're using. So with this build and when I'm alone, I primarily will use the Albion Cavalry gun and then the last dagger whenever I have an enemy that doesn't go down super fast, like the Void 30 boss in the Void Erosion. So right here, you can take a look at my Albion Cavalry gun. You can see my substats that I used with the cores and then what I got with the reactors. If you wanted to switch anything out on the substats of the primary gun, you could get rid of the Legion of Darkness damage and put crit chance there, as even with the Albion up, it still doesn't have 100% crit chance, so it will still help you there. Then I'm going to go ahead and show you the modules that I have on here. Go ahead and screenshot this. There are a bunch of different ways that you could build this gun. I did primarily chill damage and quality of life with that Firing Fiesta. If you wanted to take Firing Fiesta off, you could use other mods to go higher with that overall damage if you didn't mind reloading a lot with Serena, because you can so quickly with her dash. That is a great option. I'm always going quality of life for me because I just find it to be so helpful. So screenshot this if you'd like, and then we'll move on to the last dagger next, where on that last dagger, again, you can see my substats here. If you wanted to switch anything out, that Legion of Darkness crit chance is a great thing to switch out. Now you see here, I have a chill attack, the 2 firearm attacks. And on my green ones, instead of doing 2 fire rates, I actually chose my second one as a rounds per magazine, because I find the quality of life and overall damage output on the last dagger, since it has such a small clip size, was much more effective. Even with Serena's quick reload, having that larger clip size just made it more efficient for finishing off the Void 30 boss. For me, I find it to be very awesome and helpful. If you wanted to go 2 fire rates, all about you, you take that option. So again, I built a ton into chill damage and that quality of life, having that Firing Fiesta, so you get that 3 seconds of just massive damage, no rounds consumed, which is huge. And Serena's reload just makes it so easy to reload super often. So whenever that cooldown is off, you can pop it. Overwhelm is super great for this because the enemies in Void Erosion are weak against Pierce, and it is Pierce, so this is super helpful on the Void boss there. Then, if you are using this one, I primarily use this for if I have an Enzo in the group, but if I don't, it's still great to use. Same thing, I did 3 fire rate cores, chill cores, and then I went for that explosive attack, bonus firearm, and chill attack. Because I did actually end up building more into multi-hit for this one, the crit damage and crit chance aren't as important. When a crit or multi-hit comes up, when we get that option, I will re-roll my crit on this weapon for that multi-hit damage, just as an FYI for the future. Then for my Inversion Reinforcement, I took chill rounds. That's super helpful for the Void 30. That's primarily where I use her. That biodensity augmentation just gets that max HP up so much higher, allowing Serena's damage to go up as well as her survivability. Then, because she gets a lot of multi-hit while she's in the air, I took this as it is so strong on Serena while you are hovering in the air. I didn't mention it, but the fellow, you're obviously going to want the ammo dog as you are up in the air, and you need that extra ammo whenever you can get it. It is super helpful to not have to go back down to the ground as often. For my reactor, I did Burning Singularity, skill duration up, and skill cooldown. I know we've always talked about Serena's reactor not mattering. However, on her 4th ability right here, or on her second rather, you see here whenever you are using the high powered rounds, it's skill power times your skill power modifier for the extra damage. Since the Void enemies will not be resistant to fire like they are now, this will add significant amount of damage to the rocket launcher when you are using it. Then on my external components, I took a 2-piece Ascending Armory set and 2-piece Shell Crusher. On my power, I went with the fire resistance to help my survivability in Void 30s and that max HP. MP recovery out of combat isn't super effective on Serena because if her wings are up, she is considered in combat. Then on the Ascending Armory, I took max MP and MP recovery while in combat, which is all the time for Serena. On that Shell Crusher, I have MP recovery and defense. I would actually take gold here as a secondary stat once I get it, but I just haven't found an MP recovery with gold yet. Then on the Shell Crusher, I'm primarily using Serena in the Void 30. So there doesn't really drop anything where equipment there comes in handy. So I use max shield and shield recovery. If I was doing more farming with her in other areas, I would use that max shield and equipment drop rate to help me out there. For this build, I use my firearm and HP, which I just channeled right down here. And it is important to go down this way because this helps your fire resistance for that Void 30 to hit that max HP right there to up your damage and survivability. Then I plopped over here and just got all of this up to that firearm attack and snuck out a little extra crit damage. So that right there is going to be the first build. Now we're going to move on into my support build right here where I have Passionate Sponsor. So with this build, all you have to do is use your 1 right when you get into the battle. And that is going to proc that Passionate Sponsor. And then as long as you're dashing and leaving your circles on the ground, it'll keep it up. But otherwise, if it starts to go down, just hit one of your teammates with your 1 again, and it will keep that pumping up the entire time. So what's fantastic about this, and I tested the Arche tree. When I get there, I'll show you what I mean. But this net more damage with Passionate Sponsor going this route. So I used my 2 HP mods again, my MP conversion and nimble fingers. I got my range on. I got my maximized conversion to keep that cost down, more duration. Passionate Sponsor. So whenever you're buffing that ally, I kind of was already explaining, you get that extra 7.85 skill power and explosive attack. So both of those are actually going to be impacted with Serena's 4th ability when it is more effective in the Void after tonight's nerf. Shot Focus is fantastic for that explosive damage and for that skill damage. And then right here, we've got that singular power modifier. And that is, again, just for that cooldown. If you don't have this mod space, you can always put it on at the 6 without spending that extra piece. So again, you're using that him modifier just because it buffs everything. Very similar to the last build. Now, with this build, especially if I have an Enzo on the team, I'm always going to be using my rocket launcher. The guns are the same on this build. Everything out here stays the same, but we do go in here and we change that Arche tuning tree right here. So this is what I was talking about when I said there is a difference in the options for the Arche cooldown tree for this one. So you're going to go up to that cooldown, so that way you could get rid of a cooldown mod and have, or you get rid of a duration mod, but you got that cooldown, so that way you're able to keep your duration and cooldown very close to each other. I'm going to go show it to you right here in the module slot. So obviously you sacrifice the little duration, so your duration is only 20 instead of that 24. And then your cooldown, though, is also 20.8 and 20.1. That is almost a perfect loop with that animation in there. It's so good. Now, I have a few other options for this one. I tried an option I'm going to show you up here on the screen where I went all the way up to the firearm and took a little damage up there, but I lost the health. This one did net more damage, which much less survivable. Then I haven't tried this one out because it won't be as effective now, but tomorrow, once they buff the skill power in the Void, and once they don't have the resistances where all elements are equal, fire being just as good as all the other ones, I'm going to try this one right here. You can see up on the screen because you get the the purple skill cost node, and you get 2 skill power nodes, which those will add to that extra damage your rocket launcher is doing. So it'll be fun to test out. I don't know if it's going to do better. It would only do better on the rocket launcher, so very niche, but kind of fun to think about. All right, so for that last one, let's go over to the one shot, one kill. We got the Widowmaker in the house. And this one, I actually have it reset to a completely different one here. And we are going to look at those modules first. So what I did here is I took overwhelming HP so I could increase my max P and scale off of that 4th ability's damage. So that max HP multiplier, damage multiplier of that 0.8%. And I went Stim Accelerant, increased HP. I took increased shields to help with that overwhelming HP. I took time distribution to get that extra HP on that one. And then I took amplification control right here and weighing the scales to get more max shield just to really bump it up. I did take that maximize conservation to reduce that skill cost just in case I don't kill the boss in one shot. I decided it would be nice to have, you could put another damage mod here if you wanted, but I found this to be helpful because you don't always one-shot it, although it is great when you do. Then that duration to stay longer in that 4 in case you don't one-shot the boss, and so you can queue it up before the boss is up. It's just super helpful. It's kind of a crazy build. You don't need much more. Enough said about that. Out here, you are going to use your A-Tams. So you can see the only 2 roles that matter on this are going to be your toxic attack and your firearm critical hit damage. The other ones are not so important. Then I went on the sub roles. I did toxic attack, firearm crit damage, bonus firearm against Colossus. This one is super important because you need it to help yourself on the Arche tree as well. And then that firearm attack. If the Colossus doesn't die right away and you don't kill him on the one shot and you don't want to reset just to be cool, like take the last dagger. This is the rolls I used right here. And it's right here is going to be your options for killing it. Just use that Fire and Fiesta, Toxic. If you are not the best at hitting that single shot, then go with this one and just take the do a double poison, but in double poison right here instead. So that is an option right here. Just do double poison priority instead of that concentrate if you don't hit that. But this one does kill a little bit faster if you can hit that single shot. Oh, and I forgot to show you right here the Toxic build I use on my A-Tam. So again, screenshot this. If you want to use my exact one, there's a ton of different ways to do it, but I found this one to be super consistent with getting a decent amount of crits to do those one shots, as well as being super effective on a one shot. If it does get the crit and all else works. You get that one shot, one kill every time, baby. Now, the reactor doesn't matter as much. Skill cost, it honestly doesn't matter. Then on the external components, I took the ascending armory again, so you could do that max HP. The second roll doesn't matter. Then ascending armory, MP recovery, max MP and MP recovery in combat doesn't matter as much on the boss build, but it does help if you don't one-shot it. Then these two, I literally just took them because I wanted max HP to be the 646 and max HP to be the 646, and these two got it done. Then on our arcade tuning, we look at our boss build right here. This one is going to show you all the way down to that health right there. I guess if you wanted, you could, or actually, that doesn't matter. Then up here, I took that crit damage, that crit chance, just to make those crits a little bit easier, and that firearm attack. These nodes for the Colossus, like I mentioned before, only are helpful because they are percentage increase if you have that Colossus roll on your gun. So if there's no Colossus roll on your gun, this will not be effective. So super important to get that roll. All right, you guys, I am going to ask, what did you think of the video? Would you do anything different? How is Serena working out for you guys? I'm going to show you a quick one shot with my A-Tams and then a quick Void Erosion, just a quick playthrough of the end and how I did it, just to kind of show you guys how the build is performing in that Void 30. And I hope you enjoy it. If you're busting out here, slay away. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. But if you're heading over to watch my Void play, I'll see you over there next. Bye. And here we are in the Void 30, you guys. As you can see, sometimes it is smart to run through this dungeon, even though Serena gets the most damage when she's flying. Use that to get up. But then these doorways take a lot of time if you end up flying up and then need to come back down. Pop up right away. Again, when you're in these big open rooms, then you definitely want to stay up in the air with Serena to get that extra firearm damage and just bop around. So every time your 4 goes down, it is so crucial to use it immediately, as your damage goes up so much when this ability is up. So popping it. Again, watch here how I dash down. Sometimes you want to extend that dash, not only to reload, but to move around the dungeon more easily. Then going up just a little bit, but enough to come back down. Drop your wings, come back up, maximize that 4 that you have. Then we're going to dash forward right here. Then we're going to pop our 4 again right as it goes down. We are really trying to maximize as much as we can. Now look at how many I'm hitting when I did that 4, because my range is turned up, so that's why it does matter. Again, using my dash to move quickly through, running under, using that roll when I can, hopping up again, but staying just low enough to kill him, but then dashing down. Then we hop up. Right here, you notice that the second it goes down every single time, I'm going to pop it. Right there. Finish them off here. Again, run through. We're getting a few rewards. How fabulous. Look at that range again, just really coming in clutch as we're able to slap those rooms down really quickly, even with the Albion. So here you're going to see that I switch over to my dagger real quickly. This is why I like more of the like the reload or the clip size, because otherwise I would have to reload my gun so often, and I just lose so much DPS when I have to reload super often. So right here, go, 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 and boom, we finished. All right, you guys, I'll see you over in the intercept battle. Let's go. We are in that intercept battle. So just pop your 2 right away to go fly up. Then you dash up with 3, hit your 4. And right here, we're just going to hold it till we see that full charge. And boom, 1 shot, 1 kill, baby. Let's go. We did it.